Do you struggle with keeping your refrigerator or freezer organized? Are you constantly throwing away money by having to throw out spoiled and expired food that you just couldn't find or get to in time? Well, you're in luck because today we are going to talk about fridge and freezer organizing tips here on Get Organized with Jodi. Hi, I'm Jodi Granok. I'm a certified professional organizer with over 15 years in the field. And today we are continuing our kitchen series about how to organize different things in your kitchen by focusing today on the refrigerator and the freezer. Because let's face it, if we've got our whole kitchen organized and we're motivated to cook more at home, we need to have an organized refrigerator and freezer. So today we're going to focus on how to prevent our refrigerator and freezer from looking like this into something that is more user-friendly so that we can cook more at home, because that is going to help us save money, save time, and probably save calories as well. So let's start with the refrigerator. When you're organizing your refrigerator, you need to have a clear space to do some organizing. So if you can clear off space on the kitchen table, the countertops, you might even have to use the floor. Maybe you can use the dining room table next door, but you need to have a staging area so that you could sort through and organize the contents of your refrigerator. And I do mean taking out everything. Even if you're like, but it's mustard. I know. Take everything out. And as you're taking things out, you want to group like things together, like all your meats, your cheeses, your condiments, the beverages, and so on. Now, a little cleaning tip, even if you're not a big fan of cleaning, but this really is the best time to wipe down and wash out the shelves and your bins in your refrigerator, because it's going to be completely empty for at least a few minutes. And going forward, if you want to make it easier to clean up spills and messes in the fridge, consider using wax paper to line your refrigerator shelves and your bins, because then all you have to do when things get messy is replace the paper. Now, as you're taking things out of the refrigerator, it's really important to check the expiration dates and get rid of anything that's expired or questionable or unidentifiable. And to make sure that you don't create odors in your kitchen, you want to be sure to put the trash out as soon as you're done organizing the refrigerator and freezer. Because if you're throwing away perishable items, as they warm up to room temperature, they're not going to smell very nice. So we've taken everything out of the fridge. We've gotten to where we've checked all our expiration dates. We've gotten rid of things that really shouldn't belong anymore. And we've grouped like things together. Now we're going to put it back into the refrigerator into zones. You want to put your like-minded things together. So, for example, you can use the door shelves of a refrigerator for condiments, spices, maybe even some beverages, but you don't want to store eggs in the door, because the door of the refrigerator is actually the warmest part of the refrigerator because of opening and closing, and that part of the refrigerator gets exposed to the warmer air the most. Now, in a refrigerator, you want to leave room for air to circulate, because the food will spoil faster if your refrigerator is really packed. And, fun fact, the freezer is actually the opposite. You want to have more things in the freezer because that helps things stay cold. So most refrigerators already come with some built-in bins, especially ones for fruits and vegetables. So that part can be easy when you're figuring out, okay, where do I put all this stuff back? And if your refrigerator has an additional bin, you could use that for deli meats or cheeses, for example. It's a good idea to have a certain section of your refrigerator for leftovers. And if you're going to have leftovers, you want to use clear containers, because then you have a better visual of what's in there or how old it's starting to look. Square is better because they're easier to stack. And Make sure you label your leftovers. It doesn't have to be fancy. You could just use some masking tape and a Sharpie marker and label the containers with what it is, but also what date you put it into the refrigerator. It's a good idea to have a space in the refrigerator for grab and go snacks. And you can do some meal prep with your snacks when you first get home from the store. Make things into individual serving sizes so that when you're hangry, it's easy to just grab a quick snack. So some things you could buy at the store that are pre-packaged to be single serve, like the cheese sticks you see in the photo here, or the little bags of apple slices, but other things like hard-boiled eggs or cantaloupe, you can prepare ahead of time. You can boil several eggs at a time and then have them ready for snacks. When you first bring home your cantaloupe, sit down, chop it all up, ball it up, cube it up, whatever you prefer, and get them into containers so that when you're ready to eat the cantaloupe, there it is. You can even portion out snack-sized bags of other fruit, such as grapes. Now, in a previous video, we talked about how cool Lazy Susans or spinner trays are to make things more visible in your kitchen cabinets, but they're also great inside a refrigerator because that way no condiment or sauce or food item is ever truly in the back. All you have to do is spin the tray around to see everything. We also talked about how you could use magazine racks on a countertop to have some vertical organizing space, but you can turn them on their side and use them again as vertical space by creating additional shelf options on the top shelf of your refrigerator. Acrylic fridge bins are very helpful to organize items, and you can also stack them to increase your storage space. Once a week, ideally the night before trash day, you want to go through the items in your refrigerator, pitch anything that's expired, and rotate the other items to make sure that the oldest stuff is in the front and everything can be seen and get used in a timely manner. Let's talk about the freezer. This is not an ideal organized freezer. And I should know because it was mine at one time. Yes, even organizers can struggle with their freezer. If you've had an item for more than a year, if you can't identify it, or if it has a thick layer of frost on it, go ahead and pitch it. And going forward, make sure you label all your leftovers with the contents and the date before you place it in the freezer. Make sure to rotate your items in the freezer so that you always use the oldest items first. It's a good idea to portion out things that you're putting in the freezer into different serving sizes before you freeze them. If you make a large batch of spaghetti, for example, you wouldn't want to put the entire batch of spaghetti as one item in the freezer because it would take forever to thaw out unless you were going to serve it to a very large gathering. It would be better to make single serve freezer portions, family style, couple style, whatever you need. Another way to save space in the freezer is to vacuum seal your items, especially meat products. And there are products that you can buy now that you can do this on your own at home. Square boxes are great for storing things in the freezer because you can stack them to save space, but you can also freeze items flat in plastic bags. Just make sure that those bags are freezer bags and not just gallon-sized bags, because a product that's labeled freezer bags are going to have extra protection for your freezer items so that they are less likely to get frost on them. You can freeze family meals like casseroles in aluminum containers so that you go right from the freezer to the oven. That's a way to save time when you're doing meal prep. I hope this has given you some ideas on how to organize your refrigerator and freezer so that you can cook more at home and enjoy those home cooked meals. I encourage you to visit organizingmagic.com for more organizing resources, including our free e-newsletter, and information on our monthly Zoom webinars, which are also free. And remember that new videos drop every Friday. So be in the know and click like and subscribe before you go, so you never miss a single video. I'll see you next time.